Today we are going to discuss about installation, commissioning and testing of substation. The topics we are going to discuss, first one is definition of substation, then design and planning of indoor substation, then general requirements of layout of indoor substation, key diagram of indoor substation with one transformer, considerations for safe operation of substation, then last installation of outdoor substation. First come to what is substation. What is the definition of substation? Now substation is an assembly of apparatus which is used to control transmission or distribution of electrical power. So these are the most important parts of a power system. Now what substations usually do? They actually collect a power at high voltage from a generating station, then they convert or reduce the voltage at an appropriate level for local distribution, and then it is given to the feeders or to the consumers. Now what are the functions? Now what they perform? First they perform switching operation. Switching operation means that is switching on and off the power system. Then voltage transformation operation. Voltage transformation means either step up or step down the voltage. Then power factor correction operation. Now according to substations, these are of two types. First one is outdoor substation and indoor substation. Now this is a view of how an outdoor substation looks like, and this is a view of indoor substation. Now this is a view of metal fencing also. You can see how a transformer is fenced by a metal, and now here are the like circuit breakers placed here for switching purposes. Now this is foundation mounted outdoor substation, and this is an indoor substation. Now outdoor substations can be constructed for delivering about 11 kV or 33 kV or above, but for indoor substation it's only we can transmit only for indoor substation we can transmit 33 by 11 kV, that is 33 in the primary and 11 kV in the secondary. Now then come to design and planning of indoor substation. Now what are the points that we have to consider while designing and planning an indoor substation? First, type of supply required. What kind of supply? Like 3-phase 3-wire or 3-phase 4-wire supply. Then load. See, what are the types of load? Electrical load consists depending on the nature of load, they are of 3 types: resistive load, inductive load and capacitive load. Then on power system load, they are of 4 types: domestic load, commercial load, industrial load and agricultural load. Then we come to atmospheric conditions. Now what are the atmospheric conditions? Like we can say temperature and moisture. If it is more high temperature, then it may be dangerous. Sparks may occur, and if it contains moisture, then rust formation may occur. So now then come to atmospheric pollution. Now what is atmospheric pollution? Like if we locate a substation or construct a substation nearer a factory, chemical gases may evolve which are dangerous, so which is detrimental to the health of a power system, to the health of equipments of a power system, which is not proper, which will cause which will harm the equipments in the power system. And it should not be located nearer a sea coast also, because in sea coast moisture, humidity is more, which is also detrimental to the running of the power system. Now then come to continuity. Then the point is reliability of substation equipment, so that there is minimum power interruption. Then continuity of service through alternative supply. So we should have an alternative supply. If supply goes off, we should have an alternative supply for continuing the service. Then possibility for modification or future extension. If we want to modify the substation, then there should be space available so that we can modify in the future. Then noise reduction. How can we reduce the noise level of a substation? Because transformer causes lots of noises. So how we can reduce it? We can reduce the noise level by keeping a transformer on rubber pads, like non-reflecting resistance pads, which will cause least vibrations So now then come to radio and telecommunication interference due to switching. Now what is radio and telecommunication interference due to switching? Radio and telecommunication interference means it is caused due to switching due to coronal effect. Now what is corona effect? What is this? Now corona effect, when a transmission line is going and near it, due to high voltage like lightning, during lightning very high voltage occurs, and during also switching very high voltage occurs. So what happens, due to that high voltage, particles nearer, air particles or air molecules nearer, it gets ionized, and this causes corona effect, due to which current flows in the air along with the transmission line in the current. So this is the unwanted current. So this is corona loss. How this can be reduced? This can be reduced by using bundled conductors. Bundled conductors spaced by using spacers. Now we all know nowadays coronavirus is spreading, so we are using what? Social distancing. In the same way, here also corona effect, we have to use the bundled conductors by using spacers. That means one phase will consist of 2 or 3 or 4 wires in this manner. Now with the help of spacers, we can transmit the electrical power. So these are 2 wires, these are 3 wires or 3 conductors, these are 4 wires. By using spacers, we are maintaining distance between them. So corona effect can be reduced by using bundled conductors. So if corona effect is reduced, radio and telecommunication interference will also be reduced. Then come to what are the general requirements of indoor substation. First, we see building construction, then ventilation, earthing and cable traces. So what during building construction, we have to see that adequate space required for placing transformer, HTLT switchgear and cable trenches for incoming and outgoing cables are available. Then transformer room should be spacious and have necessary clearances. Sufficient passage and doorways should be provided. Then ventilation. There must be free circulation of air on all sides of transformer, that is for the purpose of cooling. Then entry of water and birds should also be prevented. Exhaust fans should be provided for the purpose of cooling. Then come to earthing. Now earthing, there are 2 points. First point is equipment and distribution substation should be solidly earthed. What do you mean by solid earthing? Solid earthing means connecting a device or equipment directly to earth. That is known as solid earthing. There is nothing in between earth and the equipment. So direct earthing is known as solid earthing. Now the transformer neutral should also be earthed. I have already discussed about neutral earthing. Now what is neutral earthing? Connecting the neutral of a transformer to the earth by some resistance or reactance or by Peterson coil earthing. So transformer neutral can be also be earthed by different ways. Then come to cable trenches. What are cable trenches? The hole that are going through the underground or going through the walls, that are known as cable trenches, through which we lay the cables and through which the electrical power is distributed. Now cable trenches, these are provided for laying the cables. These should be protected against entry of water and filled with gravel or sand and covered with mild steel or RCC slabs. RCC slabs, you all know what does it mean? It means reinforced cement concrete slabs. Then come to layout of indoor substation. This is the most important part of your portion. It always comes in your exam. Now, what is the layout? See, first 11 kV line comes. Here is the GO switch, that is a gang operating switch. This also acts as an isolator. So, this switch operates when we go for maintenance purpose. We need to switch off the switch. So, GO switch operates at that time. Its name is gang operated because it operates in a gang or in a group. When we there are three phases, R, Y and B. When we switch on this GO switch, all the three phases will close at the same time. Now comes to 11 kV lightning arrestor. What does it do? It ground all the high voltage surges or high voltage current which can affect the 11 kV cable. Then 11 kV underground cable, it goes, then it comes metering or protection CT. These are for the purpose of measuring current in the secondary. Now in the primary there is only one winding, in the secondary there are many windings. So it steps down the current for metering purpose. Then here is a PT or potential transformer. This also step down the voltage for metering purpose. Now there is 11 kV OCB, means oil circuit breaker, with OC and EF protection. What is OC and EF protection? OC means overcurrent, EF means earth fault protection. Now after this oil circuit breaker, it then comes delta by star transformer, which is converting 11 kV voltage to 400 volt voltage. Then there is 3.5 core cable. What is 3.5 core cable? That we can see in the next slide. See, this is 3.5 core cable. Now this see here there can be one phase, here another, and this is for the neutral. So in star there is 4 wire, but in delta there is 3 wire. So this is how a 3.5 core cable. Now here these are the conductors. This is the core insulation. This is the insulation layer. This is the armoring. Why armoring is done? This is to protect the cables from the mechanical damage, or the armoring, steel armoring also have very high temperature, so that the melting during very high temperature conditions, it does not melt easily. Now over everything there is a weatherproof insulation. Now this is aluminium armored cable, this is copper armored cable. So we are using 3.5 core LT cable because in star there are 4 wires. Then come LT circuit breaker. So this is for safety purpose, protection CT. This again it is for safety purpose. Then by using the LT bus bar, we are distributing the electrical power, that is 400 volt over the lines, and there are these are the outgoing LT lines which are given to the feeders, for the consuming purpose of household purposes. So now this is the LT switch fuse units. These are the fuse units. If there is some fault occurs, we can the LT fuse units will operate and it will disconnect the bus bar from the supply. Now this is the key diagram of indoor substation with one transformer. See how it is a key diagram. This is layout of indoor substation with one transformer. See how from a pole it comes to the HT oil circuit breaker. Then this is a cable trench. How in the underground there is a trench. Here the cable is coming. Then this is a 11 kV by 400 volt. 0.4 kV means what? 400 volt transformer. Then after converting to 400 volt, these are given to the bus bar chambers through the incoming circuit breakers, and these are the doors for ventilation. Here is a shock treatment chart, then first aid box and fire extinguisher. If any fire occurs, there is also a purpose of fire extinguisher. Usually we use carbon tetrachloride or foam extinguishers for fire disappearing purposes. Now What is the first point? With the help of key diagram, the layout drawings and protective gear skill can be involved. Layout of indoor substation depends upon the space available, number and size of transformers, and number and type of HT and LT switchgears required. Transformers should be installed in a separate room, and if not possible, it should be installed in a corner and protected by metal fencing. What is metal fencing? I will discuss in the next slide. Now the position of 11 kV OCB means this one, and transformer should be such that minimum possible 11 kV cable is used. So this cable, this HT cable should be such that we use it in a minimum way. See, this is the view of metal fencing. How a transformer is faced by a metal. In indoor substation, this is how a metal fencing looks like, and in outdoor substation, this is how metal fencing is done. Now come to consideration for safe operation of substation. What are the considerations for operating a substation safely? First, fencing and gate for transformer enclosure. Expanded metal fencing supported by channel iron rods is provided to enclose the transformer. A small gate is provided with locking arrangement for safety. The fencing should be earthed at two different points. Fire protection. For fire protection, we are using carbon tetrachloride and foam fire extinguishers and buckets filled with sand, and should be located in easily accessible position, so that if any fire catches, any employee or worker can go and just an insects. Now indoor substation should be made inaccessible to birds, reptiles, insects, rats and dust. All cable ducts means pipes and openings should be sealed as far as possible. Effects of atmospheric conditions. All steel and iron parts should be given anti-corrosive coating before final painting. Epoxy paint should be used for installation near the chemical fumes or gases. Epoxy paint is used for giving stiffness to the floor, and if anything spills on it, any dust particles, it will be easy to clean it. That's why epoxy paint is being given. Now earthing. What are the points under earthing? Non-current carrying parts with conducting surface should be effectively earthed. The following points should be kept in mind while earthing. Earth conductor should be of sufficient current carrying capacity. Lightning arrestor should be earthed separately. Earth connections should be protected against mechanical damage. The leads of earth conductor should not be embedded in concrete. The resistance of earth system should not exceed 2 ohm, because 2 ohm is the maximum. It will be good, it will be effective earth resistance if it is less than 2 ohm. So that if any fault occurs, the high current will be easily ground. All metal fencing should be earthed at 2 points. Pipe earthing and plate earthing should be provided for indoor substation. Then the last topic, installation of outdoor substation. What are the points under installation of outdoor substation? Selection of site for substation, civil activities, drawings, dispatch to site, inspection and arrival at site, storage, foundation, civil work of control room and other buildings, checking of insulation resistance of transformers, earthing arrangement, then commissioning test. Pause. Installation of outdoor substation. First I have told about selection of site for substation. Now what are the considerations while selecting a site? First point is type of substation. Now the type of substation, we have to see whether it is a step-up substation or step-down substation. Step-up substations generally are located nearer the generating substations, and step-down are located nearer the distribution substations. Then we come to availability of suitable and sufficient land. This means is that the land is suitably available or not. Now for a 440 kV substation we need 50 acres of land. For a 220 kV we need 25 acres of land. Similarly for a 132 kV we need 10 acres of land. And likewise. Now then come to communication facility. This is point 1, this is point 2, this is point 3. Communication facility. If the substation is nearer an existing road, then it will be cheaper and easier for transporting the raw materials. Then the next point is atmospheric pollution. Atmospheric pollution means the like atmosphere around factories which may produce metal corroding gases, air fumes, conductive dust, etc. And the substations which are nearer to sea coast, there are also humidity and moisture, so which is detrimental to the proper running of the power system. So substations should not be located near factories or sea coast. Then availability of essential amenities means facilities to the staff. The staff there, those are working in the substation, essential facilities should be available like school, like drinking water. This should be available to the staff. The last, drainage facility. So in selection of substation, these are the points that we should focus. Then under civil activities, what are the points coming in the drawings, dispatch to set? These all points I will discuss in the next class. Thank you.